Hello everyone, welcome to the CTV News on Calabash TV and on the Wave Radio 94.5. I am Lisa Joseph. Well, after years of accusations and speculation, the government of St. Lucia finally has a basis for action in the death of 12 civilians during Operation Restore Confidence. Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony, in an address to the nation Sunday night, reported that the findings of the IMPACS investigation into the operation are extremely damning. These findings relate not only to those officers who were involved in the operations, but also members of the high command of the police force who may have been involved in covering up these matters. The report, he said, confirms that the blacklist or death lists referred to by the media, human rights organizations, as well as the victims' families and citizens alike did exist. More alarmingly, the investigators report that all the shootings reviewed were fake encounters staged by the police to legitimize their actions. Further, that the weapons supposedly found on the scene of the alleged extrajudicial killings were from sources other than that of the victims.
The investigators say that the weapons were planted on the scene of the shootings. The investigators also advise that a number of shootings were done by police officers and are listed on the murder statistic as being done by unknown assailants. Revealingly, the report suggests that, quote, the crime problem in St. Lucia is facilitated by corrupt politicians, government officials, business persons, and police officers, unquote. Of serious concern, too, is the fact that the investigators also reported that in the course of the investigation, some senior officers did not cooperate with them. They reported that the main server of the computers used by some members of the high command of the police force was deliberately tampered with. In 2 instances, the operating systems of the computers were altered to place the supposed contents beyond the timeline of the investigation or probe.
The report has also recommended that some senior police officers be held accountable for their actions or for their failure to take appropriate action when the alleged killings occurred. It was further recommended that the officers involved in the unlawful killings of citizens be prosecuted. But Prime Minister Anthony said the question of whether anyone is to be prosecuted is solely for the Director of Public Prosecutions to determine after evaluating and assessing the evidence placed before her. Dr. Anthony said after consideration of the contents of the report, the Cabinet of Ministers has decided that it is not in the public interest to make this report public at this time, explaining that already there has been some unwarranted and outrageous speculation and commentary on the contents of the report. Disclosure of the report, he added, would compromise continued investigations, place the lives of potential witnesses at risk, and prejudice unfairly those who could face prosecution. And the Prime Minister would instead go on to inform on the steps his government will be taking to rebuild its fragmented relationship with the United States government over the killings.
Government has decided that the training of police recruits will henceforth include a module in human rights law. All current police officers will be required in rotation to attend training to sensitize them to the human rights provisions of our Constitution. Secondly, in order to strengthen the pool of gazetted officers, the government, in consultation with the police force and our partners, will organize and conduct an accelerated training program for potential promotion to the ranks of gazetted officers. Admission to this program will be done on a competitive basis. Additionally, we will augment the institutional capacity of the police force by increasing the assistant commissioner positions by 1, increasing the number of funded sergeant positions by 5, and the number of funded corporal positions by 10. Thirdly, we will make provision in this year's estimates of expenditure for the appointment of special prosecutors to assist in the prosecution of any cases should the Director of Prosecutions so decide to prosecute.
The Cabinet will appoint a joint committee, he said, under his chairmanship to oversee the implementation of the report of the investigators. The committee will include representatives of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and civilians.